So in today's topic, we'll be studying about capacitors. Capacitors are devices which can store the charges. So in the figure, you can see a number of capacitors. There are cylindrical capacitors, variable capacitors, and so on. So capacitor is a two-terminal electric device. Look at the uses of capacitors. Okay, we use capacitors in many of the electrical appliances. Say they are used whenever you want to produce flashes of the signal. So a charged capacitor discharges instantaneously. So this phenomenon we call it as flashing out of a signal. You can also use a capacitor for blocking the DC and allowing AC as filter. Then you can use capacitors in speakers also along with a combination of a resistor for differentiating a low frequency and a high frequency signal. Okay, this is called routing. And in LCR circuit, that is a combination of inductor, capacitor and resistor, to get an output as a particular frequency also we will be using a capacitor. But we'll study more of these applications in the next chapters. Coming to capacitance. To measure the capacity of a capacitor, we use the term capacitance. It is defined as the amount of charge it can store per unit potential difference. I repeat, it is the amount of charge which a capacitor can store per unit potential difference. C is equal to Q by delta V. Okay, where delta V is the potential difference, Q is the amount of charge. Q and delta V are proportional to each other and C is a constant. Coming to the SI unit, Coulomb per volt is called as farad. Farad is a theoretical unit, it is very large. Practical unit is microfarad, picofarad and millifarad. Then coming to the various graphs between charge and potential difference. So in the first graph, if you plot a graph between charge versus delta V or V is the potential difference here, you observe that it's a straight line passing through origin. Okay, that is because as charge is increased, potential difference also will increase. The slope of the first graph gives you reciprocal of capacitance. Whereas the second two graphs, you can see that Q and C, it's a straight line parallel to Q axis. That means capacitance is independent of charge. Similarly, capacitance is independent of potential difference. So then capacitor depends on which factors? Okay, it only depends on size and shape of the capacitor. To understand this, okay, look at this example where I have taken three different containers of 100 ml, 200 ml and 400 ml. Okay, we know that capacity of a glass or a jar will be always a constant. So whether you completely fill it with water or partially fill it with water, capacity of the glass is not going to change. Okay, just because you have only filled it half with water, we cannot say capacity of this glass is 50 ml. It is only a fixed value which is 100 ml. That depends on size and shape but not on the amount of water in it. Similarly, capacitor's capacitance also depends on its size and shape but not on the amount of charge and potential difference. Then coming to capacitance of a sphere, okay, we have already studied when we are charging a sphere, we have calculated the potential. For a conducting sphere, potential on the surface is Q by 4 pi epsilon naught R with respect to infinity. Okay, we take potential at infinity as 0. So if you know the potential of the point P on the surface of the capacitor or surface of the sphere as Q by 4 pi epsilon naught R, from there you can write Q by V as 4 pi epsilon naught R. And just now I told you Q by delta V gives you capacitance. So capacitance of sphere is 4 pi epsilon naught capital R. Now here you can clearly see as radius is increased, capacitance will increase. So capacitance depends on the radius of the sphere for this capacitor. Now then what is the capacitance of Earth? If you consider Earth to be a sphere, we know its radius is 6,400 km. So using the previous formula, you can find out its capacity. C is 4 pi epsilon naught R. And we know 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught is 9 into 10 power 9. So if you replace that as 1 by 9 into 10 power 9 for 4 pi epsilon naught, you will get the value of C as 711 microfarad. Okay, sometimes this is asked as a 1-mark question in subjective exams. What is the capacitance of Earth? You can remember its value, it is 711 microfarad. Then what is the capacitance if you earth the sphere or earth the conductor? So when you earth the conductor, because it's connected to earth, all the charge on the sphere will be transferred to earth. So whatever charge you give, it will be connected to or transferred to earth. So we say its capacitance is infinity. Okay, don't make a mistake here writing capacity and capacitance as 0. It is not 0. It is accepting all the charge whatever you are giving. Okay, you can compare it with a vessel with a hole at the bottom. Okay, say I have a cylinder with a big hole at the bottom. If you start adding water to it, it will accept whatever water you added, but leaving from the other side. So we say its capacitance is infinity. So capacitance of an earthed sphere is infinity. Now let's see what is this parallel plate capacitor. Okay, in the first diagram, whatever I have showed you, all of it is a parallel plate capacitor. So in this parallel plate capacitor, we are going to use a principle. Okay, look at the principle. So we know capacitance is Q by delta V. Keeping the numerator constant, that means charge constant, if you can decrease the potential, then capacitance would increase. So the principle involved in constructing a parallel plate capacitor is keeping the charge constant. If you decrease the potential, capacitance will increase. Let's see how is this achieved. So consider one metal plate and give a charge Q to it. Okay, I am showing you the cross section of the plate. It is thin when compared to the surface area. Thickness of this plate is small. And we have already studied about conductor and charge distributions on metal plates in the previous lecture. So we know whenever you give a charge Q, it is uniformly distributed on either sides. Then second step is bring a conductor, another parallel plate, place it very close to the first. And you know, according to induction, a negative charge is induced on the inner side and a positive charge on the outer side. So because of this induction, the potential of the first plate is going to get modified. Now look at the third step. Now earth the last surface, the second surface. The moment you earth the second surface, the whole charge on the first plate will come to the inner side and equal amount of negative charges deposited. And now you can see between the plates we have a uniform electric field directed from positive to negative. So this diagram represents a parallel plate capacitor. So once you understand how is the capacitance of this parallel plate capacitor calculated, you will see the advantage of a parallel plate capacitor when compared with a spherical conductor. So let's calculate capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor. Okay, we know when two plates, one is having a positive charge and the other negative, are placed one beside the other, the electric field in the region between the plates is given by sigma by 2 epsilon naught for the first Q, again sigma by 2 epsilon naught for the next charge. So if I write it as Q by 2 epsilon naught A, okay, since sigma is Q by A, I am writing it as Q by 2 epsilon naught A for the first plate plus Q by 2 epsilon naught A for the second plate, because both the fields are directed towards positive x-axis. We'll get the net electric field as Q by epsilon naught A. And now I will find out the potential difference. We know electric field can be written as V by D or dV by dr. Here dV itself is the potential difference between the plates, which I am writing it as V, and small d is the distance between the plates. Then write it as V by D is Q by epsilon naught A, or Q by V is epsilon naught A by D. From here we have got the capacitance as epsilon naught A divided by D. And here again you can clearly see capacitance is directly proportional to surface area of the plate and inversely related to distance between the plates. So if you decrease the distance, capacitance will increase. So this is the advantage of a parallel plate capacitor. When you bring the plates close together, it occupies less space, but capacitance will increase. So when you want to use capacitors in small circuits, we make use of parallel plate capacitor because it occupies less space but gives you a large capacitance. So here we are going to find out what would happen to the capacitance if the distance between the plates is completely filled with a dielectric. So assume that between the two plates we are inserting a paper or plastic or mica sheet, okay, which is a dielectric. Then we know inside the dielectric field decreases by k times. So in the first equation it is same as the previous derivation, but there is an extra k in the denominator. That k represents the dielectric constant. The remaining part of the derivation is as it is. E is written as V by D and Q by V is written as capacitance. You can observe capacitance has become k times of epsilon naught A divided by D. That means capacitance has increased dielectric constant times by filling the gap with a dielectric slab. So we know value of K is always greater than 1. It is taken as 1 for air, and other substances have a value ranging from 1 to infinity for metals. So you can get the capacitance as K epsilon naught A by D. And sometimes they ask you what would happen if you connect the two plates with a metal. We know for metals K is infinity, then capacitance would become infinity. That means charge will flow or current will flow through the circuit, capacitance becomes infinite. Now, capacitance with partially filled dielectric. See, in the previous case, we have seen that if it is completely filled with a dielectric, capacitance was increasing by k times. If you don't completely fill but just insert a slab of thickness T, distance between the plates is D, so T is occupied by dielectric. Remaining distance, that is D minus T, is vacant. And now if I calculate the potential difference delta V between the plates, there are two regions. One is with dielectric, another is without dielectric. And we know the product of E into D will give you potential difference. So if I write the potential difference, it will be E naught, that is an electric field in the free space, into thickness of the free space, which is D minus T, plus electric field inside the dielectric. It is E naught by K into its thickness. So the first equation gives you the potential difference. Then if I replace E naught as sigma by epsilon naught, where sigma is Q by A epsilon naught. Okay, so we are modifying E naught as Q by A epsilon naught and bring out the relation such that you get Q by delta V. So we get Q by delta V, that is capacitance, as epsilon naught A by D minus T plus T by K. Here T represents the thickness of the dielectric